We now move to our first panel discussion for the day, which is going to be on ad spends projections for the festive season 2022. We begin with Raksha Bandhan and Independence Day the next week, followed by Ganesh Chaturthi, and then you have Dasera, and then you have Diwali, then comes Christmas. So yes, a lot of festivals that are going to be certainly celebrated by people across the country, and how one should spend on advertisements is what this session would take us through. And chairing this session will be Neil Pandya, CEO Europe and APAC Pixies. And the panel is going to comprise of Dinesh Rathod, Chief Executive Officer, Madison Media Omega, Jyotirmayi JT, Chief Executive Officer, Hive Minds. Virtually joining us for this session will be Vibhor Mehrotra, Chief Digital Officer, Zenith. Yatin Balyan, who will be present here physically, Managing Partner, National Head of Media Investment, Omnicom Media Group India, as well as Nitin Kamath, Chief Marketing Officer, TAM. Can I have the pleasure of requesting them to join us on stage, please?
One of the most common question. So for today's panel, I'm going to wear the hat of my ex-marketer, which is L'Oreal, HUL, Vodafone. I'm not going to wear the hat of Pixis at all. So guys, don't worry. I'm not going to get into that. But what I believe, guys, I mean, this is that time of the year where every marketer, every advertiser has one question popping up, that how are festives going to be treated this year? The quite obvious reasons why they are asking this question is that first, to check how the clutter is going to be. Second, to check hamare paas jitna paisa, is it enough to do the media mix across all the medias, or we focus only on one media and significantly show presence. But these are the common questions sorry. No worries at all. Vibhor, you are getting 80% of share of screen right now.
I can see that.
Okay, no worries. Where I was going, I think the kind of a question why advertisers generally ask this is for the obvious two things which I mentioned, and the question generally jumps to the community which is sitting right now with me, which is the media agencies and consultants. I'm sure you guys come across with these questions every time, every year. Okay, bhai, what is the clutter all about? Do we have enough budgets to share the media mix properly? So what we're going to do today, we're going to listen from the horse's mouth, because this question is often answered by them. And we're going to listen to them in terms of how and what they believe. So I have a fabulous panel, and I know someone introduced the panel, but I think I have people from the agency side, and I have Nitin, who is in the pioneer of the TAM days in the country. I have Jyoti, who is the CEO of Hive Mind. Jyoti, I'm going to come to you for a lot of digital-related specific questions. I know you're an expert. I have Vibhor, also CDO at Zenith. And Vibhor, I'm going to come to you on digital side. I have two industry-renowned experts, which is Dinesh and Yatin, who has the experience of both offline and online media together. So I'm going to come to you both on, a little bit on offline space also. And the world is moving digital, but we need to never forget that, television in the offline world still will be surviving. So I'm going to go to so I have a fabulous panel. I'm excited. And I think someone mentioned earlier, the crowd is not clapping, crowd is cold a little bit. So let me open up the first question to the audience and to all of you guys, and it's a pure yes and no answer, okay? Which will conclude our panel also. So that's an obvious question. So as per you, I will come to you guys individually as well, but as per the audience, do you feel this year festive is gonna be showing more ad spends compared to past years or compared to pre-COVID era? Just shout out yes or no so that we can get the energy in the room as well, guys. Sure. I mean, is that the energy we have in the room? We're going to speak for 40 minutes. So is 40 minutes enough? Yes or no, guys? Yes. Obviously, I think we are concluded, guys. I think festival is going to be super awesome, and we can go back to our seats. But coming to experts on the panel now, guys, I mean, a quick yes or no, or maybe to some extent, because I don't think the obvious answer is yes. We are still benefiting. All of you guys, any yes, no comments, open to everyone from your side.
Yes.
Yes, definitely yes. I think we'll be recovering much of the demand that has been slowing down through the 2-3 years. So yeah.
But to some extent, do you feel? Bijoya also said some percentage numbers. Do you also have some percentage in mind compared to previous year, how much it would be?
At the beginning of the year, with our advertising report, we had said that the industry is going to grow at about 20%. Last year, we clocked about 79k crores. This year, we are projecting it to be about 89k crores, from 74 to 89, which is about 20%. Typically, H2 is much larger than H1, and therefore, I feel ki during the festive season, it will be much more than 20% growth. How are we actually going to get there? If you see, there is a lot of demand, organic growth from the FMCG advertisers. They haven't slowed down in spite of inflation and whatever you see. And I don't foresee them slowing down because there is a lot of certainty amongst the audience as of today. When not the audience, the customers. Because, jobs are secure, maybe the uncertainty of not having a job and or the future being uncertain is not there anymore. So people are opening their purses, they are spending. And in fact, as we know, all our festivals are all about celebrations. We visit families, we buy new clothes, we buy new things. And therefore, it's going to be a very, very buoyant festive season. In fact, I am saying that we will surpass our pre-COVID this thing. Also, in terms of media, there are a lot of big ticket items that are lined up. So, for example, we have 3 big sporting events that are going to come up. In 17 days from now, you'll have the Asia Cup. Then you have the T20 World Cup that is going to be followed by the FIFA World Cup. FIFA World Cup, while India don't make it, as part of the 32 playing nations, but because it comes once in every 4 years, there is a huge draw for that. Besides organic growth from FMCGs, the sporting events, you'll find all the reality shows starting. In fact, KBC just started last weekend and they've already signed up about 11 sponsors. And you'll find a lot of other reality shows that are going to come up. Let's not forget the elections as well. So for example, you are going to have Gujarat and Himachal elections coming up in December. And in this very fiscal, you will also have Karnataka as well as 3 or 4 northeastern states that are going to go for elections sometime in March. So all that spend is actually going to happen in the H2 or the latter half of this thing. Also, while we are talking about festive, I just want to add, the juggernaut does not stop only with September, October and Diwali. In fact, if you see the momentum that we've got at that point in time continues beyond there, and right up to December, actually you'll find, there is a premium on inventory and sometimes there is no inventory.
I think it's always good to start first because you can speak anything and everything, and I think Dinesh has covered everything. Again, we can go back down and we can sit on their places, but thank you, Dinesh, for covering that. Vibhor, recently I read a report and I think, Vibhor, can you hear us clearly? Okay. Awesome.
Yes, I can, yeah.
So, but I think one of the biggest, Madison generally is also a pioneer in publishing India report, global reports. Similarly, Publicis Group also recently published a report regarding that India will be the fastest growing market in terms of ad spends.
Right.
As I couldn't read the report, can you give us a little bit more highlight? What are the key highlights about the report, which will speak about festives in mind as well?
Yeah, so see, the point is numbers are somewhere or the other on a similar range of what Dinesh spoke about. We are seeing about $10.5 billion being spent the pace of 22% year on year, 2 to 3 years. Again, driven by digital, growing at around 60 to 65% year on year on the back of not just the COVID times, but now like whatever journey that we had in 3 months in those period or 6 months in those period that they have continued, and on the back of commerce, on the back of video. So we call it as 3. So it's vernacular, video and voice is what is kind of driving a strong growth on digital. I think the biggest change, and just to take a leaf from what Dinesh spoke about, festive, of course, will be quite buoyant for us, specifically for the FMCG and the consumer durable lines. But one thing which I just want to put out as a word is that with all the app-based clients, internet clients, we might not see a similar kind of investments coming through. And that's a big watch out for most of us because we have a good set of so-called unicorn clients across the board. With funding winter, so to say, being there, we need to see that how much they spend in, because they have been the bigger vendors of late as we go along. So yeah, I would second what Dinesh said, but yeah, we need to just be cognizant of this fact that how big it will be for the app-based clients, app-nomic clients. Yeah. over to
Fair.
you
I
guys.
think Dinesh and you, I think especially Vibhor, you commented one of the interesting point. I mean, the world we have seen. I think we heard Thomas speaking about oil, the largest category followed by coffee. So FMCG has been the largest
Yeah.
vendor globally. Coming to you, Yatin. I mean, according to you or according to the reports or what your experience, which are the categories do you think are going to expect good transaction or good attraction in the festive specifically? I mean, we have heard all of a sudden unorganized category like sarees, jewelers, everyone come up. So do you think, forget about FMCGs, we know they will continue for 30% of the spends, but which are the categories to look out for in festives especially?
See, to take it further, like Vibhor and Dinesh will mention about, how the growth is looking very buoyant at this point of time. Yeah. See, we are post-COVID. We are in a very interesting and challenging era, so to speak. We have come across a pandemic, and at a stage, no year is same as previous year. There is no algorithm to say how this thing will pan out, right? 2021. If I will take a minute to kind of set the context in terms of categories. 21 was almost like a 12-13% over above 19 itself, and the heavy lifting was done in H2, and because there was a second wave in H1, the heavy lifting happened by 40-45% growth over 19 itself. So 2022 will be definitely far higher than 19, but it's just that H2 was so heavily skewed for 21, then the number has to be seen going forward. And Diwali is short this time. It was now in November. It is in October, 4 weeks of high activity. There were two, IPL was split in half last year, which gave an advantage in H2. There was T20 World Cup, we have T20 World Cup. FIFA again is a big property, but still a little niche. But the way the buoyancy we see in the market, as you mentioned, FMCG 35% will continue to do so. 3 months of very high period for them to make their bottom line good. I think e-commerce again is the category which will thrive on these 4 to 5 months. They will have exceptionally good drive. Auto will continue to have buoyancy. We handle a good share of auto clients, and the conversation across revolves around how the consumer is having buoyancy. They are not looking to cut down on spends there. They want to have indulgence on auto category. And the fourth one for me is durables, because we see a huge surge in terms of the demand on premiumization of those products, be it refrigerator, be it TV, or be it AC for that matter. So these are my choices of 4 or 5.
Awesome. I will take 30 seconds more from everyone just to say top 2 categories according to you guys. I think he mentioned 4. Let's just come to the top 2 conclusion with all the weightages from everyone. So Jyoti, I mean, as per you, just top 2 categories.
I think I agree with Yatin on the e-commerce side. I think all the platforms, especially backed by beauty and jewelry and many of these players will continue to spend. We are, however, have to discount for the gaming, crypto and edtech and everything that happened, right? Like that's not going to repeat. So, but e-com will still top growth on that. The second category, of course, auto consumer durables, I agree with Yatin. Something which has been on the down turn from a percentage growth, travel could be back. It's still not very guaranteed, but like the thing is, right after the festive season, we have the holiday, November, December, and the marriage, season there. So there is a possibility that in terms of percentage growth, travel might recover. I mean, it used to be just about 250 crores. I mean, fell down to 120, 130 crores in. So those kind of numbers.
Damn interesting. I think travel is an interesting point of view because travel has been stagnant because of COVID for the longest time. And Nathan, top 2 categories. I think e-com and auto are winning. Are you?
I think I also go with e-com as the top category.
Yeah.
And in fact, even I was looking at travel and auto as the second category. Both may be at similar levels in this festival season.
Awesome. Vibhor, any top 2 categories? I think you mentioned one category which is not growing, which is the apps and all, but the category which you expect which will grow would be?
So I think it will be, for me, it will be auto and consumer durables. Commerce is part of the way we live. Okay, so in the end, it will tend to continue to grow because it's the people who are using it. But I think the peak season generally is for consumer durables and auto, and these are 2 big bets which I'm looking forward.
Awesome. Dinesh.
I would like to add retail category. I mean, walk-ins are really back, and today you don't have the concept of an online and offline consumer. So I would say retail is actually going to see a lot of action, and you'll find a lot of small advertisers also contributing largely during the festive season. Obviously, the big brands definitely will be investing like they always do every year during the sale as well as the festive period. But other smaller retailers also will contribute very largely to this festive season.
I think the top two among all of us is e-commerce plus retail. I'm talking about consumer commerce as large, and auto, I think, is something which all of us are expecting. As I'm going in sequence, let me go to Jyoti, to you. I mean, Nitin, I'll come to you to us post that. Jyoti, I mean, one of the most burning questions among marketeers, among media agencies, two sides of a coin. Okay, do we continue to focus more on performance media, or festives will open up the gates, floodgates of branding spends or sponsorship spends? I know it's a difficult question. There's no yes and no. It's chicken and egg.
It's difficult
but-
because we are High Minds is a performance first agency.
Okay, you got the answer, guys. I mean, performance.
But-
Please
but
spend
I'm
with
going
high
to be,
minds.
Very indexed towards, as Dinesh was saying, omni-channel is back, right? It's no longer over-indexed on online anymore. So when it was online, performance was something which got skewed both because of the conservative nature of the 2 years, and also because it was measurable. You can drive sales and everything. So, however, this festive season is going to be different. I think branding will get as you said, it would open the floodgates. There would be a huge push on the branding media. And even wherever there is performance, it would be more about nurturing whatever awareness and consideration has been built there. Complete the last leg, if it's going to be online, if it's going to be walk-in. I think India hasn't advanced to the extent where we are able to measure through the walk-ins and, understand what is the influence. But I think the branding index would be much higher in this festive season than performance.
I completely agree to you. I mean, performance will always be there, but branding will open up. During the festivals, you will see KBC produced by 2 title sponsors, 5 powered by 8 others. I mean, you can relate to the thing, but yes, look out for a lot of more logos on the sponsorship. Coming to Nitin, I mean, Nitin, you have been a veteran into TAM, and TAM has been the veteran in the country in terms of measurement. As per you, I mean, 2 broad questions. One, all of us have been speaking that digital will grow and has been growing continuously. In festive specifically, forget about the annualized version. What do you think would be an ideal media mix in terms of growth? Will digital see more percentage or share of voice in festives, or TV will still be the dominant? And that's one part of question. The second part of the question, Nitin, to you is, as you are strongly into measurement with expertise, and there's a brilliant problem happening, and I'm sounding really awesome. So coming to the point about measurement, I think more and more marketers want, post-COVID especially, have started becoming so conscious that every penny they spend, they need a better ROI, and hence measurement comes into picture. Do you see new norms coming up into measurements as well, broadly?
Yeah. So, I think it's important to first look at what has happened in the last 2 years. And the way media mix is operating, I think it's in the evolution stage right now, where digital is booming, and in this festive season also, we anticipate that digital will be on top. I mean, the numbers that we have is almost 50% growth we see in digital, as compared to traditional medium, around 34% is what we are looking at. Overall growth, I agree with Dinesh. I think 18 to 20% is what we'll overall look at. See, I think it's important to see how, so a brand's journey is what? I mean, they need to get discovered. And if you look at evolution that has happened from a audience perspective, how they consume media, you need to be in all these spaces, right? And that's why it's important that the media mix is also evolved according to what audience, how they are actually evolving in terms of consuming the media. So yes, digital is definitely going to be on the top. In terms of measurement, see, there are still few questions which are not answered. There are still some dots which are yet to be connected. We interact with a lot of agencies, advertisers, even broadcasters. While they have started spending, they have, looking at these kind of media mix, But when you look at measurement, it's not an end-to-end kind of solution. They are actually getting into various multiple studies. There are various data points that are emerging, and we help them monetize that particular thing. We try and fuse the data. But I still feel that the entire journey of brand, right from when you look at return on ad spends to the exposure that has happened and how the consumption has happened. I think there is a need for having a robust measurement system, a reliable measurement system, and I think somewhere industry has to look at investing in that arena.
Awesome. I think fairly, 2 points which he said. Obviously, digital will continue to grow and see something like that. Coming to Dinesh, to you, I mean, you have been in the again. Sorry, not to by calling you veteran, I'm not calling you old. So don't take that. I take the liberty of bringing you with the experience. So I think Dinesh, if you go back 15 years when most of us would have started our career, we have seen that FMCG was dominant while in sponsorship. So you would see HUL logos, Pepsi logos, or all of these logos everywhere. All of a sudden, we have observed that the new age India first startup brands like Fee, Jar, An Academy, all of these guys are taking over. Do you feel is it short term? I think we both somewhere touched upon, but do you feel this is short term or it's new India and the trend trends are going to be skewed towards that? Or you foresee something else? And there was Vivo, Oppo also sometime, but let's not go there at all. But do you think these startups and others who are spending so much on digital is a new trend, or what's your observation?
So I believe FMCG will continue to dominate. As of now, also they contribute the largest, and I think they are going there to stay. I agree with what Vibhor said. There are certain categories, in fact, crypto, your gaming, as well as edtech, is actually seeing a decline, and that will continue. However, there will be a lot of other players and small players. They may not be branded, but local players and all, because you don't need a very large war chest to actually go digital. Even if you have something as small as 50,000 a month, or let's say a 6 lakh budget for a year, you could still be part of the advertising system. So therefore, I am saying that the bottom end of the pyramid is actually going to even expand further. So while FMCG will continue to dominate, e-commerce is here to stay. The brands may change and all of that, but the third big chunk is actually going to be by this small advertisers.
I think what I hear from you is that the categories, which are the new categories which are coming, like the e-commerce and others, will continue to spend more. But within the category, who has the potential to survive will keep changing. I mean, if you are a startup, but if you grow well, you'll keep spending. But if you don't grow well, you'll stop. But you'll replace by someone else. Brilliant answer. I think, Yatin, again, I mean, coming to you, I mean, you have been offline, omni-channel buyer, planner for your life. We all know that, spends will continue to be highest in digital, as Nitin also mentioned some time back. Do you see connected TV and OTT, like 6 months back or 1 year back? I mean, if there was a huge wave of connected TV and OTT, do you think that was just a wave, or it will continue? We have just seen the tip of the iceberg in India, and it's going to continue more in the coming years.
See, I guess the connected TV is the origin of a new era in itself. The way it's going to happen and the way it's moving at an aggressive pace, right? And for me, from my perspective, connected TV is the outcome of a deployment. Whether if you are doing an OTT, is still getting deployed on connected TV. So it's an output of where you may be deploying. It could be a YouTube also being watched on connected TV. It's a far bigger as a concept, but yes, adoption is aggressively happening at this point of time. And we have seen OTT in last 2 years, and the way the growth is, we see how the IPL rights have moved, right? It's kind of a big in terms of how the ecosystem will rapidly change this year and next year onwards.
Okay, connected TV is there, guys. I'm sure all of us watch connected TV, so now start advertising on that as well. Coming to you, Vibhor, I think all of us spoke that the media spends are going to continually, obviously going to increase. Everyone is echoing in the room. Yes, that is going to increase in festive. But do you also think, as marketeers, they will also invest into technology as well? Because being a CDO at Zenith, you would come across multiple questions from your clients that, I'm spending on digital, but there's no ROI, there's no optimization, there's no attribution. But to do all of that, it's compulsory to invest into technology as well. Do you think marketers will invest into AI, ML, and any specific technologies as well during festive, and then continue post that as well?
Okay, so I'll break the answer in two parts. One, yes, there will be an investment in technology, or there has been an investment in technology, but that will be focusing on how best the media during festive can be utilized. So it's like a A/B test scenario or a learning scenario will be pre-festive, and when I say pre-festive, it's like kind of started because we are into festive, right? So it has started now, and for most of the clients or for most of the brands, that learning will turbocharge the actual ROI driven activation, the bottom funnel activation, the mid to bottom funnel activation that they will be doing on digital as they go along for the 30-day period from 25th of say September till 25th of or 24th of October. So that period will be focused on learnings from all of these tests and learns on technology, whether it is on the part of say using a pictures kind of a platform which you represent from a optimization perspective, from a DCO perspective, from a ADH implementation perspective. So all of that learning is something which will come in play, and then it will move to actual turbocharging the growth during that 30-day period. And if all goes well, that will continue as we go along for the larger journey henceforth. So that's the way I would say.
Makes sense. I think the only takeaway which I took from him that Pixis is there, so keep investing into Pixis. Jokes apart, Jyoti, coming to you. I mean, one of the biggest question again, which keeps among marketeers is, do I increase my investment on platform versus the off platform, specifically digitally? We know that Google search volumes have moved to Amazon search to some extent, not to the comparison, but advertisers have started moving into on and that. What's your perspective? Where will the marketers focus more?
So, for the benefit of audience, I mean, purely because on-platform and off-platform is a very digital-only term. So on-platform is whenever you spend media where you can purchase, right? Like if you can purchase the product and on that platform. It could be Nykaa, which is a vertical like beauty player, versus Amazon, which is a marketplace. So that is on-platform spends. Off-platform is everything where the visibility is built. The purchase might have to happen on the D2C website or might have to happen on the marketplace. So I think when the money is a little strained, on-platform is the first choice and possibly sometimes the only choice for many brands. However, it doesn't always it's you're still playing with the same set of customers and everything. And one of the interesting thing for this festive season is much of the growth that was due to COVID has happened. Amazon and Flipkart now claim 150 million consumer base who are transacting and everything, which was a mere 30 million, 40 million pre-COVID. That's a massive growth that has happened. And this might not see a considerably higher growth in this year, right? So owing to that, my answer in COVID would have been yes, on-platform, of course, would be the biggest spend and the only spend sometimes if money is short. But in this year, I think an investment off-platform will also be driving newer customers, newer user cohorts onto these platforms to purchase. So especially for brands which are market leaders or who are in niche categories, the consumer base on platform might not be sufficient and they will go off platform. The brands who are possibly challenger brands might try to just stay on the on platform spends and, because the ROS and everything is not as good on the off platform media spend. One of the things which today I do know that Amazon's working on that, Flipkart still on the data. To the question that you had asked Nitin, and of course Pixis works on this. The whole measurement angle of what happens on this, this isn't omni-channel, but this is multiple channel exposure or touch point. The consumer is moving from Google to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and everything, then landing on Amazon and possibly going back to Instagram to check a video review of the product and then coming back to Amazon, comparing price with Flipkart and buying. So the entire consumer journey is so the measurement angle is extremely important to push more media spends to off platform. As of today, we do not have enough measurement in place for when you spend off platform, you are still measuring the way TV and print is measured in terms of brand lift and overall reach and frequency built. And the measurement of that onto your sales is not connected as well. So once that happens, I think off-platform would be considerably higher. Just to quote a number, I think just between Dashera and Diwali, which is just 30 days, I mean Navratri, start of Navratri to Diwali, the on-platform might see upward of 1,000 crores being spent in this season, which is a considerable number, big number.
Big number. I think the mic was sponsored by the off-platform guys. Every time you spoke about on-platform, it was switching
So,
off.
of course, off-platform will be 3x of that. All I'm saying is the growth on on-platform it continues to increase at a 30% or higher.
Makes sense. I think very interesting point which you pointed out is that I think everything boils down to the budget which the marketer has. I mean, if the budget is limited, the marketer really want an ROI to come out of it, and hence they focus more on platform. The budget is extended. They do a combination on and off because omni-channel and the attribution across platform is there. So brilliant. I think one of the finest answer I've heard about on and off argument. I'm going to use this at multiple places. Thank you, Jyoti. I mean, Nathan, again coming to measurement to you. I mean, sorry. I'm putting you across all measurement questions because of the obvious background you have. Nathan, from measurement perspective, do you think marketers have started adopting new measurement parameters while they are investing into digital or while they are investing into maybe out-of-home is something like that, but new digital parameters outside TAM, BARC and other stuff which you have been doing it. Do you think marketers have started adopting?
Yes, they are definitely adopting. I mean, I was answering to you in the earlier question as well. See, they do a lot of customized studies. They do pre-post evals. But again, when you get that data and what Jyoti was trying to tell you that, they're not able to actually look at the entire journey because, it's the ultimate consumer is sitting across and it's so complex kind of a system. So you don't get answers out of it. So hence, I think there is definitely a need to, look at a very, very reliable kind of a measurement system which can answer all the questions, and it has to move out of the traditional kind of way of measuring. We'll have to look at some newer ways of adoption in this.
Vijay, do we have time? Or the AdGully team, do we have time? I have a couple of more questions. This one to Jyoti and Vibhor both. I mean, definitely, ROI, ROAS is like echoing in our ears on our day-to-day conversation. But do you think that's the only thing which marketers are looking at? Or obviously that could be a yes answer also. Or do you think there are different digital parameters which marketers have started evolving or understanding apart from ROI and ROAS? Either of you.
Yeah, I
Or
can
do you
pick
want to
up.
go first?
Yeah, I can. Okay. So, see, specific to festive, I would say it's the ROI and the ROAS that they will focus on. But there are audit metrics that we have seen growing up over a period of time. What we have seen is that, so one question and one point which you made in the start, that whether it is about performance marketing or the brand marketing, for us, and for most of the clients, everything is measurable. Everything is performance depending upon which part of the funnel the consumer is in. So if it's in the top of the funnel, where it's awareness, the measurement is not just the brand tracks or the brand lift surveys, but say things like how the search is getting impacted, on platform, which is say your Amazons and likes, or it's on the Google and all. If it's mid funnel, then what's the kind of quality traffic that we are driving? How much organic that we are driving from a traffic or a direct perspective to the website, to the apps, to the platforms. And of course, when it comes to bottom funnel, it's the usual ones, your ROI and ROAS. So hence for me, it's the full funnel of measurement that we do across. But specific to festive, it will be ROI and ROAS. The build up to it will be the audiences, the searches, and likewise. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Please.
Since Vibhor has addressed the funnel measurement, which is very critical in performance, I'll take a different angle to this. In the offline world, over the many decades, right, there has always been Nielsen, survey or something commissioned from the market research companies for market share and index by the region and what's the penetration in different regions and things like that. One of the interesting things we are seeing is the brands ask us the same questions even when we do digital today, because it's being published, it's measurable. Amazon has Amazon Pie, Flipkart has brand insights, and most of the, even when it is D2C, it's difficult, but otherwise, because of these two major platforms giving varied amount of data there, a humongous amount of data visibility there, at least with respect to this category level insights. People have started measuring market share and e-commerce market share. Market share overall, me versus everybody else in the competition, and what is my e-com share within my own sales. If I do 700 crores outside, do I do 70 crores or do I do 200 crores on e-com, right? So market share and e-com market share. The second thing is the consumer base growth. This has also become a critical measure. So what are my new to brand? This is measurable on digitally. Offline, you had to commission a survey on a focus group. So on digital, pretty much every day, every month, I know my new to brand audience. New to brand, I can see category growth. So new to category is also something we can see approximately. So this new to brand and repeat customer, which is extremely necessary for FMCG products. The repeat frequency and new to brand is the second one, which eventually builds up whether your consumer base is dwindling or growing. Right, so these two together add up to that. So this is the second thing that we measure. So it's absolutely not only ROS. ROS is like just one part of it. The other thing is, of course, in terms of the efficiency of it, ad cost and everything is there. But a measure of share of, share of voice equivalent is also something which is making way into the digital ecosystem. How much buzz are you creating? What is the share of voice? If the first two factors and the ROS has to go up, somewhere the share of voice has to go up. So these are three metrics that we have seen very prominently in the digital
Guys,
ecosystem.
if you have heard this question, you have answered from, I think we both brilliantly explained the funnel and what are the ROIs we have. And what Jyoti mentioned is largely what brands look offline as well. I mean, they don't only, they obviously look at ROAS and others, but they also look at things like consumer base increase, what's my e-com share, and their surveys and all. I think brilliant answers. We have last 3 minutes, guys. I mean, one trend which, this one is to all of you guys, I mean, we'll keep it short so that we don't finish 3 minutes in one question. One trend which you feel will see the highest adoption during festive. Yatin, if you can.
Hello. So I guess in last 2 years, every 3 months there is a new trend. Okay. But the point is that the trend which I believe is making a huge impact and going forward to kind of change the entire media mix is this year onward, we started to realize the impact of invested in digital impact, which is the case. For example, there are brands now independently investing in digital impact, and there's a talkability and buzz about it. So there are, which are earlier always a discussion point, debates and discussion, but this year onwards, we see brands solely investing in digital impact. Shark Tank is one of those examples which is build a lot of talkability. In IPL going forward, standalone, and the World Cup are standalone digital properties now, and there is a talkability and buzz factor which is being, this is the one trend I believe going forward will take a lot. Exactly.
I'll go with omni-channel because, I mean, while Jyoti also answered the online and offline or platform and all, as you saturate the in-market audience, and if you really want to expand and you want to grow, again, it's not an easy answer, when do you stop and when do you start moving to other media, but if you want to expand and grow, once you've saturated the in-market audience, you will have to open up the top of the funnel or whatever you want to call it, increase your reach, so you will have to look at omni-channel, you'll have to look at other media.
The influencer-led ad, like sales.
Social commerce, right?
Social, not necessarily the social, social commerce to some extent on an overlap basis. I'm not talking about, see, influencer was seen as engagement and buzz and everything. today influencer is seen as promoting sales, directly to sales. The whole ecosystem is now ready to capitalize on this, where you have a whole lot of micro influencers promoting products with coupon codes and measurable and again. So I think this is something which is a new trend which is possibly going to grow and stay.
Awesome. Nathan?
In addition to what others have spoken, I think one of the area that I see is hyperlocal and going deeper, like cable advertising or hyperlocal kind of print editions. And we recently did one study on SMB players, and you won't believe that when I see the total ad spend chart, 0.3% of the total top advertisers are actually contributing to some 47% of ad spends. But when I look at the long tail advertisers, about 4 lakh plus advertisers, they are actually present across hyperlocal and print. So print, radio, cable are the platforms that they will look forward to.
Makes sense. I think brilliant one. Vibhor, from your perspective?
Yeah, so I think I'll just add to, actually my answer would have been hyperlocal as well as what Dinesh said. But from my side, it's like how to make the non-media spends perform better for us, which is to do with how creative can be best utilized, whether it is from a hyperlocal vernacular perspective or moving it from, say, a video to static and static to video, how it can be synergized in the best way. I think that's one important thing that we all are looking forward to. That's the thing that I'll be like, me and my clients are looking forward to, how the best use of non-media spends are taken care of, how to optimize on that.
Excellent. I think this covers everything, guys. I mean, if you're looking at festives, these are the 5 top trends which will cover your own respective marketing budgets and others. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. I'll just summarize. I think we tried and covered every point in 45 minutes or 40 minutes. Brilliantly answered from all of us. I think the top 2 categories you saw was e-commerce, auto, and somewhere commerce overall, so retail also to that extent. I think we saw brilliant 5 trends also coming up. Digital measurement is going to be the key version in Festive. So enjoy, guys. I think if you have any further questions, we are available for lunch as well. So push any questions to us. Thank you so much, everyone.